Hi guys, long time no see. I hope you've been well. I've been pretty good. I mean, I had a little bit of a rough patch last month, which I will update you on when we get home. But first, I'm gonna go into Lowe's and get a couple of houseplants because I have just been craving new plants the last couple of days. And this morning when I sat for meditation, I was like called to like write out a list of things that like bring me joy. And the first thing on the list was like my houseplants, because I just love looking at them and taking care of them. And the ones that I have right now are thriving and they're growing. And when I get back home, I'll be sure to like show you. But I was like, you know what? I want to expand. So I had time this afternoon. So I'm here. We're going to go in, look at some plants, and hopefully get a couple, one or two maybe, if they've got good ones here. And then I also kind of want a tea like from Starbucks, but I'm having a little bit of heart palpitations because last night I went out to dinner with one of my friends, and I ate like half of my meal. It tasted really good, but with me, it's like I never have any idea how I'm gonna react to foods, like new foods. But it was great. It tasted great. I didn't have any upset stomach like at all last night or this morning. So I was like, well, that seems pretty safe to me. So I ate the second half today for lunch. And then afterwards I noticed that I had like some heart palpitations, which like every once in a while foods will do that. So I Googled it, and it's actually pretty common. Like the first thing is like, oh, if the food is high in sugar, it'll happen. I was like, well, what I just ate wasn't high in sugar. The other one is like if it has a lot of MSG in it, which, I mean, I don't know. I didn't prepare the food. I don't know if they added MSG. And then the other one is like, it happens if there's like a food sensitivity. And I'm like, my body being sensitive? You don't say. So it doesn't really surprise me at all that I would be sensitive, though it is. I don't mind the heart palpitations if that's the only symptom. It's way better than having like an upset stomach. So anyway, I don't know that like consuming caffeine while I already have heart palpitations is the best idea. But over the next couple of days, I'm not supposed to consume any caffeine because I have to do a test on Monday and Tuesday, which I'll update you on what that's about. Nothing serious or anything when we get back home. But for now, let's go into Lowe's. Let's go look at some plants and see what we can see. I'm excited. Okay, let's go. I love this. This is so freaking cute. It's a bamboo plant, but it's $25. But I mean, obviously, because it's beautiful, but I don't think I'm gonna get it. These are cool. I don't know what these are. I've never seen them before, but I kind of want one. Say cheese. Yeah, have a good day. Thank you. Do. I got my new plant babies and I got my tea. Now we'll go home and I'll catch you up on what's been going on in the last month or so. So let me show you. These are my plants. You've seen them before if you've watched other videos. But they're all doing so well. They're just doing so lovely. So this is my snake plant that in a previous vlog, I cut 2 babies from and grew roots. And okay, surprise, this little guy right here, I was worried about him because he was like more droopy and I really didn't think he was gonna make it. But they made a baby. Like, she made a baby. I I don't know how she did it. I was so concerned that she wasn't going to survive. But not only did she survive, and she's even stronger than before, but she also reproduced somehow. So he's doing great. Love that for them. Love it. This right here is a little experiment. I'm trying to grow an avocado plant. I have no idea if it's actually going to work. It probably needs to be that way, but we'll see. This plant is doing great. This plant, okay, it looks beautiful right now, but they say that a pothos is like the easiest plant to take care of. You cannot kill a pothos. This is my second pothos because my first I definitely killed, and the second is only alive because my mom intervened. It was just dying. No matter what I did to it, it just was dying, and so I just let it be. And then I was dog sitting for like 3 weeks, so I was away for a while. And when I came back, my mom had intervened. She had like came into my room to like try and find something, and saw that it was like in desperate need of attention. And so I guess what she did was she like soaked it from the bottom, and it just brought it back to life. She also cut it back a bit and like took out all the dead stuff, and now it's like doing so well. So the only reason this is still living is because of my mom. Okay, now this poor pathetic little baby, I thought he was one of the other clippings that I did from the other snake plant. He was really tall and he was so strong, but for whatever reason he was really wilting. I don't know if cutting him, like cutting off the bad part of the stem, is actually going to do anything, but I'm giving him a second chance. He was planted the same time as this one, and I'm just so impressed with like how this worked. Beautiful. You did great, sweetie. My aloe vera plant that's still alive. My cactus that just, oh my gosh, against all odds, just keeps continuing to grow. And then this is a cut from the Pothos, and it's just cute and little, and hopefully it will continue to grow. This one is also a cut from the same Pothos, but it's very wilted. I don't know. I don't think I let the roots grow as much as I should. I was too excited and just put it into this. This is not real. It's not a real plant. I got a succulent in this for my friend asked us to be her bridesmaids, and one of the presents was like a little succulent, but it was like from this service that you'd buy online. And so when you got the succulents, all of them were just rotted. Like they were just drowned in water and rotted. So I took out the succulent, and I plan on putting something in there eventually, but for now it's just like these fake stems that I got from this up here that I put together. Maybe I'll tell you more about that later. But anyway, then over there, which I'll show you in a minute, is my pride and joy. Don't tell any of the other plants, but I think it's my favorite plant. But anyway, I took a clipping from that, and I'm currently growing the roots. So that's exciting. I love being able to do that. So cool. But I'm going to give it a few more weeks to really grow some roots before I put it in the ground, or in soil, I mean. So yeah, these are the plants that are just making me so happy. Look at this beautiful dragonfly like hanging thing that my mom gave me. There's my lovely backyard, by the way. But yeah, isn't it just so beautiful? Anyway, I love this area of my room. Then this is my pride and joy. Look at her. She is just so big. She has grown so much. She's just absolutely beautiful. She's doing so good. She's poisonous though, so don't eat her. But yeah, I'm just so impressed with her. She's incredible. Here's my dog. There's Sam if you miss Sam. Oh, he's so tired. Say hi, guys. Something that I forgot to mention is the reason I got this plant. I didn't mention this earlier, but I was originally going to be looking for something, I think it's called like a string of pearls or something, but it's a plant that kind of looks like that in the way that it like drapes. But I wanted a plant to sit up here, up there, and kind of like hang down. So I think this will work well right there. It's not the exact plant that I was originally looking for, but that's okay. And then the other two plants I'm gonna put over into that windowsill right over there because I don't have any plants over there. All right, now that I've caught you all up on the workings of my plants, there's my couch back there. Does anyone else, there's gotta be other people that do this, but like, I sit mostly there, and if I'm not sitting and then I'm laying and my feet are that way, not that my feet are particularly dirty, but I always want to have like a cover, or in my case right now, that's a sheet, like where I'm mostly sitting, especially if I'm going to be eating, to cover like the couch. Does anyone else do that? Anyway, who cares? I did, as you saw, get my tea. My heart palpitations went away. So the last, I can't remember exactly what was going on the last time. I'm petting my dog, by the way, if you're wondering what's happening. The last time I made a vlog, I should probably go back and look, but I'm too lazy to do that. Since then, I've gotten my vaccine. I'm fully vaccinated and very happy about that. I did have a little bit of a reaction. I know I'm someone that's genuinely curious about how people have reacted to their vaccines. So I'll just give a little update on how that went for me. So once they opened up appointments, and like just walk-in appointments at the grocery store by my house, I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I was originally waiting until I saw a neurologist to ask him about it because I didn't know what my MRI results meant yet and all that stuff, but I was like, I don't want to keep waiting. I'm just gonna go and do it. I just ran out of patience, and it ended up being totally fine, thankfully. But after the first vaccine, like within an hour or two, I was so sick. Like not like the typical body ache and chills and stuff like that, but like nauseous. I was non-stop, like severe nauseous for 3 days. I could not eat like at all. And then for like a week after that, I had bouts of really bad nausea. It was like the constant nausea then lessened to, instead of being like 24 hours, it was like 20 hours. And then the next day it was like 18 hours. And then it was like 14 hours. And so every day it got a little bit better. And then the entire 2 weeks leading up to the second dose, I was still dealing with some form of like digestive issue upset. And considering like how messed up my digestive system has been, it made sense to me anyway that like my immune response showed up in the form of like my digestive system. So it like sucked, but it was nausea, and I can handle nausea. Like I know how to do that. Like I can manage it pretty easily. And thankfully I didn't like have to go to work or anything. I could just like lay at home on my couch for 3 days. And then after that, I did actually have a doctor's appointment during that time for just a follow-up of like all the MRI nonsense. And I told her about it, and she prescribed me an anti-nausea medicine that I can't think of, Zofran or something like that, but the generic, to like for when I wasn't really able to eat. But I didn't actually end up taking it because, again, it's nausea, and it's not like I was like sick, you know what I mean? It was just like feeling very gross. So I think that like the vaccine really was just like a shock to my system, and my body was like, what did you just put inside of us? And then at the second dose, I didn't have any of the nausea. I didn't like feel anything until the next day. And then for like a few hours, like maybe 6 hours or so, I had the typical like body ache, chills, and a low fever. But then it cleared up and I was totally fine. So I'm really happy that I did it. I'm grateful that I did it. I'm grateful that I had access to it. and I haven't had any issues with it since. So I'm really happy about that. Now, onto a related topic, but also not at all related. Because of the timing of like getting the MRIs done, waiting to see a neurologist, and also starting physical therapy all in this time over the last, 2 months or whatever. During that time, I also happened to run out of a prescription medicine that I've been taking for several years to help support my adrenals. And, at the time, aside from like the stress of waiting for my results and waiting to see a neurologist, I was feeling pretty good, like aside from like the pain in my back, I was feeling really healthy. I knew that in order to get this prescription refilled, I needed to see my Lyme doctor and I needed to do a test. And it's just policy, it's just policy. And I get it and I respect it. But at the time, there was like all this other stuff going on and I didn't really have the money at the time. So I was like, I'm just going to put that on the back burner. I'm not going to worry about it. I've been feeling good. Maybe I don't need it anymore. Spoiler alert, I do really need that medication. So for like a week or so afterwards, I didn't feel any different. I felt totally fine and just didn't even think about the fact that I wasn't taking it. But then slowly, over the next couple of weeks, I noticed random little things. For one, my appetite had really increased. I would eat my normal meals and then be starving. And like, that's weird. Like, I'm not normally like that. And so I was like, what is that about? And then like, I was breaking out a lot and like worse than I am right now. Like my face is clearing up now, but it was like pretty bad. And I was like, that's weird. It's been kind of a long time since I've had that bad of a breakout. And for me, that's usually related to hormones, which, the adrenals help regulate your hormones. But then it wasn't until like a week straight, I just felt like I was constantly on the brink of an anxiety attack. And I've been open with my anxiety and like I'm generally an anxious person. I have an anxiety medication that I take as needed. So it's not like an everyday thing, just when I feel like I need it, I take it. But I felt every single day, all day long, like I was just constantly on the brink of an anxiety attack. I'm like, what is going on with me? Like, why is everything so difficult all of a sudden? And I was starting a dog sitting gig, a house sitting gig, a place that I have been before. I'm familiar with the place. I'm familiar with the people. And I knew going into it that there was going to be a couple added responsibilities because they were going to have some like work being done while they were away. And so I needed to be there to make sure that the right people were coming in to work on stuff. And so each day there was something like that, which I'm totally capable of like handling that. But for some reason, that time I couldn't handle it. I mean, I did handle it, but it was so hard. It was like I suffered through every single day because of it. And there was one day in particular where I came home. Like I just felt like I had to be home here in my space, and I had a full-blown panic attack, worse than any panic attack I can remember having. And it's so interesting the way that anxiety works, because for me anyway, it feels like I very much have two different brains. I have like the very logical brain that's doing its best to take care of me. And then I have like the crazy anxiety brain, the catastrophizing brain that I try and take care of every day and can usually keep it in control. But I felt like it was completely out of control. Like my thoughts on this side of my brain were just racing, and I was so convinced that I needed like serious help, like professional serious like emergency help. Like that's how bad it got. But while that's happening, I still have my logical brain who is like, okay, get home, eat a good meal, take your anxiety med, wrap yourself in your like weighted blanket. And so I was just like sitting there on my couch. I had eaten as much as I could, took my medicine, and just was wrapped in my weighted blanket. And my crazy anxiety brain is just like freaking out. And my logical brain is just reminding me, like, it takes a little while for the medication to work, but it will work. And I just kept like repeating that to myself. And eventually the medicine helped and I came back down. But I was like seriously trying to like figure out what I needed to do to make sure that like someone else could take care of the house and the pets that I was in charge of for the next 2.5 weeks. Thankfully, it didn't have to come to that. I calmed down and it was fine. But it was still another couple of days before I made the connection that what I was experiencing was caused by the fact that I hadn't been on my adrenal medication for like over a month now. So I went to my doctor's office. I needed to pick up supplements, but I also was like, I need to schedule an appointment because, like I said, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to get an appointment, or I wasn't going to be able to get the prescription refilled until I had the appointment. What I didn't anticipate was that my Lyme doctor was going to be booked out until September. And this was back in June. This was all happening at the end of June. And I was like, oh my God. And so I asked, I was like, is there any way that the prescription can be refilled as soon as I get like the results back from the test? Because I can do the tests that I need to do as soon as possible. And then like maybe 2 weeks out, it'll take like 2 weeks to get the results. That's sooner than waiting until September. And the receptionist, she was so sweet. She was like, there's a slim chance, but I could tell she didn't want to give me like false hope, you know? She's like, there's a very slim chance. There is a chance, but it's very, very slim. I'll ask the doctor the next time we're able to. And I was like, okay, thank you. She's like, we'll give you a call. I was like, awesome. And I was like trying to prepare myself. I'm like, Lizzie, it's going to be until September until you get your medicine. So you're going to have to figure out a way to just get through it. And I was like going to research like natural supplements and stuff to help, like something I could get at Sprouts or even something at my doctor's, because I get supplements from my doctor anyway. Just something to maybe help supplement until I could get the prescription medication that I've been on and that I know works. Thankfully though, long story short, they called back a couple of hours later and since I've been with my doctor for so long and I've been on this medication for so long, like she was able to fill like an emergency prescription. So I went back on my medication and balanced back out, and I've been great ever since. And now I just have my like baseline normal anxiety. But it makes me think, like, this is the thing that's so crazy to me, because if you've ever like read the book or seen the movie Brain on Fire, it's about this woman who like got really, really sick, and a lot of her symptoms manifested as like what you would assume like a schizophrenic would have, someone who was schizophrenia would have. It ended up being like a really bad infection in her brain or something. And as soon as she was treated for the infection in her brain, all of her like psychiatric symptoms went away. And it just really, and the book even talks about it, like how many people are out there living with schizophrenia who aren't actually schizophrenic. Like what they need is something else in their body that needs balancing. And it makes me, like for me, the main symptom that I was experiencing was psychiatric, but what needed support were my adrenals. You know, like, so for me, adrenal support is very, very key to like my mental health. And it's just like, how many other people out there haven't figured that out for themselves? Like, I'm not saying that like everyone that's dealing with, you know, mental health issues, it's because of something in somewhere else in their body, but there's probably people out there who would find improvement if they, you know, if they could figure out, I don't know. Hopefully I'm making sense. Like, there's a possibility that there are other people out there, maybe even specifically adrenals. Like, they just haven't had their adrenals checked because the healthcare in this country is so weird. You know, I had to go see a naturopath for them to figure anything out. So, I don't know. It's just interesting to me. I'm also obviously, I have to go see my naturopath, my Lyme doctor, but not till September. But when I do, I'm going to talk to her about like more support for my adrenals, because maybe there's something else that we can do for my adrenals that will help the rest of my anxiety, because I still deal with anxiety just about every day. So I don't know. We'll see. I am very grateful that I took the break that I did from doing vlogs, because I did it before I went off my medication, but I'm just glad that I didn't also have like the pressure of doing vlogs, even though literally no one is pressuring me to do this. Like, it's just something I enjoy doing, but I'm just glad that I took the break that I did. So anyway, thanks for listening. This has only been one day, but I've caught you up, and so I'm gonna end it here unless I think of something else that I need to mention. What do you think, Sam? Come here. Come say hi to the camera. Come get it. He's so cute. I love my dog so much. What else has been going on? I don't know. I've been really busy with my dog sitting, my pet sitting. Like, I'm currently in a week of not doing it, but before this week, I'd been like back to back, and then starting next week, I have 2 more back to back, and then I have a little bit of a break, and then I have a couple of more. But then after this summer, chances are things are going to slow down again, because they tend to do that. And so I don't know what it's going to look like in a couple of months. And I'm kind of wanting something a little bit more stable, but I don't know what that looks like yet. So I'm just kind of open to it, seeing what comes from it. And in the meantime, I'm just trying to be kind to myself instead of like feeling like a total failure, as you do when you're in your 30s and living at home. So yeah, I guess that's it. I had a little bit of a rough patch. Thankfully, I got it figured out, and I've been slowly coming back to myself and enjoying life again. It was really hard there for a little while. I don't know. I feel like there was another thing I was going to tell you guys, but I don't know. So anyway, I hope you're doing well. I hope you've had a good summer so far. I hope you've been staying cool. I know we've been having crazy high temperature in parts of the US that don't normally have crazy high temperatures. Like here in Phoenix, we're used to the 115 degree days, and like it's, our infrastructure is built for it, and so we deal with it. Though the people that don't have AC, my heart, and people without homes, I don't know how they do it, but for the most part, we're able to handle it. What I don't handle well, we actually had like a monsoon season this year. We had several days of it raining like all day, which in and of itself is kind of peculiar, because normally monsoon is like in the evening or during the night, but we had days where it was like raining all day long. It was very strange, but welcomed, because we're a desert and we are always in a drought, so it's nice to have some water. Anyway, during those days it's still really hot though, so the humidity, oh my gosh. To those of you that live somewhere where it's humid, I don't know how you do it. Dry heat is always better than humidity, even if it's 115 degree dry heat. I would take 115 dry heat over a lower temperature but humid any day. I do miss spending time outside though. because I don't have a pool. I've tried to say goodbye how many times already? I think this is the final one for this video. I'll be back. And yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know how you're doing in the comments if you feel so inspired. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys. Oh my goodness, Lizzie. Jesus. Okay, so as I'm editing, I also... What did I do? Oh, Jesus. Okay, pay attention, focus. I realized as I'm editing, I also didn't like give you guys any updates about my physical therapy or my back injury or anything like that, because I have had a lot of improvement in that regard. So what made me start going to see my doctor at all for my back is when I started experiencing pins and needles and like unable to sit for more than 10 minutes at a time without experiencing like pins and needles and numbness and stuff. And I'd like wake up in the middle of the night and sometimes I'd be numb, and it was just like really scary. It ended up just being a bulging disc in my back, but painful, obviously. So I started physical therapy, and I was starting to go when I was still vlogging a couple of months ago. And at first it was like 3 times a week for a couple of weeks, then it was 2 times a week, and then down to 1 time a week, and then I was done. And I have seen so much improvement. I don't experience the pins and needles anymore. I don't experience, like, I'm able to sit for long periods of time again, to like sit and focus and meditate. Oh my gosh, I really missed being able to just like sit and like meditate. And I do still experience pain. Certain like movements and stuff will cause pain. I might always have that, you know, like that's a common human experience. And sometimes when I do sit, especially depending on the chair, like last night like I mentioned, I went out to eat with my friend, and the chairs were so hard, like no cushion whatsoever. And like that causes pain, especially like down the side that the bulging disc was. But it's remedied pretty quickly. I get up, walk around, move, change position, and I'm fine. It's like so much better than it was before I went to physical therapy. I will say one thing that I learned is, and this is a common thing that I am having to learn and really accept in my adult life, is like I've always been a sensitive person, but part of that is that I really just genuinely have sensory issues. There are just sensory things that really, really bother me, and it's not up for negotiation. And part of that I learned through this physical therapy is certain kind of touch, because part of the physical therapy was like a really like good massage. My physical therapist knew what he was doing. I fully trusted him, felt really comfortable with him. But the massage part of the physical therapy was so uncomfortable. It became unbearable. I would start to dread physical therapy, like going, because of the massage. But it was vital. Like, I really think that the massage part of the body manipulation was key to like fixing my back, because what he's doing is like encouraging the bulging disc to like go back to where it's supposed to be, you know. And I fully believe that he was doing the best and he knew exactly what he was doing. But for me, I can't handle that type of touch, because there's another part of the massage part of it where we're like weirdly awkwardly entwined, and he's like twisting my body around. That was very pleasant. Like that sensation I enjoyed, I guess. But the like digging into my back and like massaging it, I couldn't do it anymore. And so I actually ended up leaving physical therapy a couple weeks earlier than I needed to, because I couldn't handle being touched anymore. And I figured, like, I already do the physical therapy exercises on my own fine. Like once they taught me how to do them, I'm like, I can do them on my own. I don't have to keep going. The only reason I needed to go was for the massage part. So I've never had like a proper massage ever in my entire life. I've always been really hesitant, and now I understand why. It's because I can't do it. It's just not for me, and I'm okay with that. I'm glad that I now have experience and can be like, yeah, no. I have a a massage gift card somewhere in here that I've had for like over a year. Like at the beginning of 2020. I got from my old job, and I just never used it, and so now I have it. So anyway, besides the point, long story short, physical therapy was awesome. I highly recommend physical therapy. If you ever have an injury and you have access to it, go, because oh my gosh, it helped so much. And I learned that some of my sensory issues definitely involve a certain kind of touch. Also, if you're in Phoenix and you need a recommendation for a good physical therapist, I know one. But yeah, okay. Bye.